conference.
Bravo. Now we go to Rio de Janeiro. Beatriz, it must be very early.
Hello, everybody. A pleasure to be with you again and to see old friends and colleagues. Due to Herbert mention on Lula's speech, I'll change a little my intervention and I will start with one very important declaration Lula has told to the press yesterday, because he is traveling to Washington to have a meeting with President Biden tomorrow. In face of this travel, he declared to the press yesterday that one of the main points he will discuss in Washington is the war in Ukraine, and that he will ask Washington and President Biden personally to agree with him to create a peace committee, because it is urgent, Lula said, to put an end to the war. And this committee, in Lula's opinion, should be integrated by China, India, of course, the United States and Russia, Brazil, and he mentioned some other countries of the South. Of course, nobody knows which will be Biden's answer to this proposal. But anyhow, I think that even in the worst scenario, which I can imagine may be the more realistic one, Biden not accepting this or not having a direct compromise with this idea, I think that the proposal is very important and valid, and even in the absence of the United States could be created a committee like that. So starting with this Lula's proposal, I will mention, because I think it is very interesting in relation to that, what was affirmed in a Chatham House report on the G20 summit in Bali. Surprisingly, this report said, and it was launched in December last year, that the lead up to the summit, as well as the summit itself, revealed the growing international confidence and influence of 8 countries of the South. And they particularly mentioned the name, who are those countries: Argentina, Brazil, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and Turkey. And why are they saying that? The Chatham House said that those countries were the ones who built up the possibility of having a final declaration in Bali, because in some moments that was quite impossible to have a minimum of agreement about anything. So they construct the possibility of having this final declaration, backing in some way the US and its allies, but also trying to put an agenda with some other items. And I think that this Chatham House report confirms what we really have been discussing in our conferences, that is that the bundle spirit and non-aligned spirit and legacy are totally valid and important in today's world. And so, if it is true, I have a question on this, because I agree, of course, that the South, the non-aligned movement, whatever we have as an initiatives, and Ana Maria mentioned, and of course, dear Mano also, some of the initiatives, but there are exclusively, and it may be like that, state or government initiatives. And I think that what is lacking, what is the need today, is to have people participating and being actors. But that is related to what Tapio said. And I was very, very happy to hear that Tapio mentioned Juan Somavia, who is a personal friend and a person who has been very, very close related to the Third World magazine, which I directed and founded. And he was one of the supporters in the Mexico era of our magazine. So why are we lacking at this moment of a very, very important grassroots movement, popular movement on the streets, claiming to put an end to the war, claiming to change the rules of our societies? I have seen in Europe many important manifestants in the streets, but the main demands were exclusively and very strictly directed to their own agendas. They haven't the main scenario of the world in which we are, which is important, of course, to put into the agenda: the war, the inequality, the existence of millions of persons who have nothing to eat, famine. So Manu was very, very, very strongly reinforcing that idea. So why are not this agenda part of the popular movements on the streets now? I think it has a lot to do with what Tapio mentioned, the power of the great transnational pool of mass media and the new social media as part of this plan, because the has been very, very clearly demonstrated now with the headwork in Turkey and Syria, and before with the pandemic, that when a disaster occurs, the first initiative, very spontaneous initiative, is of the society, the civil society, the popular, the people on the street trying to support people. So it is a very generous, spontaneous. That means that we have humanity in this part, at least at this part of the society. But if we are thinking on something that Samir Amin mentioned, the necessity of uniting the workers, the peasants, the ones who are struggling for a different world, how can we manage to do this? And I think that we have to afford the media as one of the key issues to build really the world anew. Thank you very much.
Thank you.